Hey everyone, Sirturmund here again. So there's a lot of Bard decks running around out there. Bard has become really one of the most popular champions in Runeterra, which is crazy to me. And one Bard deck that I've been trying out and that I've really been enjoying is Bard, Sejuani, and Gnar. Now this deck I believe originated with Rico Reds, who's a really popular European player who does like a lot of like overwhelm decks. This specific list I got from a player called Easy to Win when I lost against them one time in ladder. So how does this deck play out? So it's a Bard deck. You are playing triple Bard, triple Lesmus, and triple Bird, but you're also kind of playing for the full Freljord overwhelm package. And one of the key cards in this deck, and which makes this deck work, is Revna the Lord Keeper. So Revna the Lord Keeper, if you guys don't know the card, if you haven't seen it that much, it's a 6-mana card that when she's summoned, she grants all the units in your deck her stats. What this means is that if any shine hits Revna, then she's adding +3/+3 to all your cards. If you have multiple chimes hit Revna, then she's adding +4, +5, etc. All of a sudden, really quickly, all your units in your deck can become really big threats. As you've seen some of the games today, we have some hilarious games where something as small as like an Omen Hawk can become like a 10-10 and just completely put so much pressure into the opponent. The rest of the deck is just playing the Overwhelm package, right? So we even play a Barossa Outriders. That's kind of like an Allegiance card. You might not hit it every single time, but it is an Overwhelm card that can buff other cards in your deck and also give them Overwhelm. So it ends up being pretty good. But you play stuff like Ancient Yeti, right? Play stuff like Sejuani, Gnar, Tell Speaker, Ruthless Raider. We play all these Overwhelm cards that can get buffed by Revna or by your Shines. And then are able to combine that with stuff like Battle Fury to be able to push all the damage and just completely finish the game. That's kind of how this deck works out. You're just overwhelming them with like really big units, really big overwhelm units that the opponent cannot do anything about. There's games that you can get bigger than Trolls, for example, because of how quickly Revna can get out of control, especially if you're able to somehow play multiple Revna. I think this deck is kind of funny because it ends up, I think, doing even better in the late game compared to like the early game, like other overwhelm decks. Other overwhelm decks might have done better like in the mid game, but I think this deck shines in the late game when you can get a Revna out there, maybe 2 of them, have a bunch of shines going on at once, maybe have a level of Sejuani, and just completely overwhelm the opponent. Our early units are Bird and Omen Hawk, and even one Sentry, and us Esmus as well. Esmus is a nice card. The only time that I don't like Esmus is when we're going against aggro. But against every other matchup, he's actually pretty good because he, gets a shine in your deck, becomes an elusive. If he gets buff, he can also become a threat all on its own, right? Because of Revna. Omen Hawk and Bird are really good because these 2 cards are both buffing your units right away in turn 1. If you get both of them in turn 1, I suggest always playing Omen Hawk first. That way you don't accidentally hit your Omen Hawk with the shine from Bird. But yeah. And then, obviously, some support cards from Freljord, like 3 Sisters and Trojans, just to keep our units alive. What else can I say? Again, as always, if you like the content, please make sure to like the video below and subscribe to us. We post LOI videos every single day. Hope you enjoyed this deck today. It's really, really fun. I really like this variation of Bard, and it's a lot more fun than just playing like Bard the Massive, for example. So, enjoy the games coming up today, and I'll see you all at the end of the video for some mulligan tips. So, in this matchup, we'll be going up against Deep. I think this is going to be tough for us. The reason that I think so is because we rely on kind of having like a bunch of like big units. But Deep is also going to have pretty big units themselves. So I don't know if... Double Sejuani is also not great. I don't know if we can ever have enough to get through all their units. So yeah. Very interested to see how it ends up working out here. I have gotten comments on my music being too low, so I'm gonna try to increase it, and then you guys let me know if it's a little bit better on the YouTube side of things. Here's the question: which one are we supposed to start with? Are we supposed to start with Bird, or are we supposed to start with Omen Hawk? So Omen Hawk means that we're hitting something on top of our deck, and we're not like. So the reason that I think Omen Hawk is probably better is so that we don't potentially hit the Omen Hawk with the Bird, right? Because if we play the Bird, there's a... Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. There's unless we draw another unit. If we draw another unit, it's at least a 20% chance of us hitting the Omen Hawk, right? So I think the Bird is a little bit better after the fact. So that now we potentially hit one of these units, all of which have Overwhelm. Even if you hit the Revna, The Revna is able to pass that buff to the rest of your deck, right? Because she's able to give the buff to everything in your deck. So it still ends up being pretty good for us, even if it doesn't hit the overwhelm. My problem here is that my attacks looks horrible, right? So I'm not even advancing the Sejuani level up. So I feel like I'm getting like really stalled out by this deck, unfortunately. Which is what we kind of talked about. Ooh, I have not seen people playing Slaughter Dogs in a long time. I think the landmark is good, but it's a little bit too slow for deep, especially now that you get access to the fish, right? Oh shoot, what's the name? The 2-drop. But yeah. So that's why I haven't seen them even play it ever since that other card got released. Also, Lord of the Depths I think is probably slightly better as well. So I wonder if the opponent is still also playing Lord of the Depths here. Wow, they're playing a really old version of Deep. If they're playing Hapless as well. Kind of feels like somebody just went. Did we just miss Allegiance? I think we just missed Allegiance. Oh no. We have, I guess we do have enough Allegiance misses, right? We play Burr, we play Esmus, and we play Bar. That is not completely out of the question for it to happen. The Sea Scarab, that's what I was thinking about, the Sea Scarab. I haven't seen people play Slaughter Dogs ever since Sea Scarab got released. So I'm interested to see the fact that the opponent is playing both. That's so unfortunate though that we missed it. And he's also playing Undergrowth. So they're playing Undergrowth, they're playing the Megatusk, they're playing the Sea Scarab. How did you find space on the deck list for Slaughter Dogs? Whatever. So this deck. You can kind of see that these that we're buffing our units, right? And then go for like a big overwhelm turn. I think with Revna, we might be able to go over his deep units. I just don't know. Not sure what the not sure what the emo was for. Not sure if we'll be able to get there quick enough though, right? Devourer goes bye-bye. Esmus is not bad, so we can potentially hit Sejuani or another Revna again. He's playing 2 Hapless Aristocrats. If anything, this will let me attack. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say if anything, this will let me attack with the bird, but ended up with the case. But this is what I'm talking about, and why I think Slaughter Dogs is probably worse than Lord of the Depths. Because look at what the opponent has happening to them right now, right? They only have 2 cards in their hand. With Lord of the Depths, I feel like you will have more units. You wouldn't be running out of cards as they are right now. I think we go ahead and just do the Revna right now and start working on potentially getting like a big overwhelm unit, especially now that the Revna also got buffed here. So now, maybe not the greatest job. Everything else in our deck is going to be +4/+4. Opponent goes deep here. But they don't have any sea monster. I guess they're going to get one with the Slaughter Dog. Slaughter Dogs. We get to attack here, buff her up, we get to push 1 damage. And I think at this point, like I said, we tried to get our units to be bigger than theirs. So this might be like a game of attrition. Because with double Revna on the field, every unit that we get is going to be huge. Because this one buffed it by 4, and this one's going to buff it by 6. So every unit that we draw from now on is going to be at 10-10. Opponent just got rid of another Sea Scarab. So again, they're kind of running short of sea monsters. We have 3 sisters, which can save us, potentially. Oh well. Well, we have the elusive. Not ideal, though. I probably don't want to have to, like, do this, right? Do we want to block? You know, it might not be bad. It might not be a bad block. I'm going to do Omen Hawk. I think I'm going to block with Esmus. I don't think I want to take that hit, and I don't want to let them draw. So it kind of sucks, but I think it's worth it. Because again, I think at this point, we're going to outvalue any unit that the opponent draws. Except for the elusive. In which case, for the elusive, we're probably going to go Sejuani. Or we're probably just going to freeze it next turn. I'm really looking for like a big overwhelm, right? A big overwhelm at this point is really what we're looking for. not the Omen Hawk. I think it's actually fine to do Sejuani right now. Treasure Trove. Ooh. I think it's fine to do Sejuani right now. I know Sejuani is technically not that strong, but I also, again, I really don't... Bar is kind of tempting, but I think I'm kind of scared of that Abyssal Eye. I'm kind of scared of that Abyssal Eye. Opponent has 5 cards that they're going to play for free, but it is Treasure Trove. Sometimes I can give them trash. So we'll see. Wow, I say sometimes he can give them trash, and he literally gives them freaking Captain Farron. So if we attack with this, then we no longer have a good blocker for Farron. So I actually think I like keeping this back. I think I like keeping this back. We do have 3 sisters as well, but this is going to be a good blocker for Farron. We have good blockers for everything else. And we can start working on stuff like Bard. And again, the moment that we draw another Overwhelm unit that we can put Battle Fury with, it should be game over. Because we have, like, all our units in our deck are so big. What is going on? Why is the opponent getting this crazy value from Treasure Trove? Wait, this is nuts. Okay, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. So we have blocker, double Overwhelm and a Fearsome on top of it. Shirisa, okay. That's 4 cards. One more. Did they really get 5 units? Did they really just get 5 units and nothing else? I guess our benefit here is that they don't have Nautilus, but Nautilus is not even that good, to be honest. Wait. Okay, no, you have enough mana to... I thought the opponent didn't have any mana. I thought we were going to about to break their draw, but they have enough mana to do 1 here. Yeah. So we have blockers for everything here. We can play the Bard and give us another blocker, as well as a way... And there we go. We got the Overwhelm unit. So then next we can do Ruthless Raider, which already has 15 attack, plus Battle Fury. And that should be GG's, right? Even if we have to sacrifice a whole board right here. Like, I'm completely okay sacrificing my whole board right here. Opponent's gonna try to get to heal this up big enough that it doesn't actually die to my block. But I think I'm okay with that. I like the Bard. Yeah, because Shirasa is kind of annoying though. Opponent has 4 damage on the board that they can also do. They don't even attack with everything though. I'm so confused here. So I just do like this and just take 2 damage. And now we can just Bard plus Ruthless Raider. I guess opponent could have Vengeance. That would be the 1 punish to the Battle Fury into the Ruthless Raider play. I like how the Bard is not even leveled up, by the way. Wait, that's actually kind of weird that the Revna doesn't count for the Bard level up. Oh, I guess, I know, it makes sense. I just read it. It says, increase the total stats of allies in play or in hand, right? Revna is buffing the stats on the deck, not in the hand, or the play. So it makes sense. It makes sense. I just hadn't actually read Bard, to be honest. So it makes sense. That's a lot of gems that the opponent is just using. It is actually hilarious. But look at this. That's a 15-13 Overwhelm unit that the opponent has to worry about. I'm okay doing the second one as well. Sejuani's not that far from level up. Opponent gets another sea monster here. Gets a Mega Tusk, which actually heals his unit. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hoping that we would draw... I was hoping that we would draw another unit. That's why I was fine doing the Ruthless Raider. In retrospect, we could have probably not done it, and we still have been okay. Opponent needs to have Vengeance, right? I think I commit the Battle Fury. I think I always commit the Battle Fury. Force the opponent to have the Vengeance. And if that's the case... I guess we don't have lethal even with Battle Fury, huh? I think I want to do Battle Fury and the Ruthless Raider. That way we spread out our damage just a little bit. So even if the opponent can Vengeance this Ruthless Raider, they can't Vengeance both, right? So I think that's the play. I think we just spread out our damage. And if the opponent leaves any of these units on block, then the Battle Fury just kills them. And that's why they have to block everything. So I like this. I like this here. Bard levels up as well. We spread out our damage among 2 units. We still have 3 sisters for a potential... I mean, I guess we could have gone for lethal, by the way, if we did, like, Fury the North. But I think it's actually better to play safe. I think we're so far ahead that I don't need to rush it, right? It's tempting to go and be like, just go for lethal right now. But I like the idea. We're so far ahead in our board presence that I like the idea of just playing it safe and playing it slow. Because I don't see anything that the opponent can do here to beat us here. I guess a random ruination. Oh, the kill breaker is actually pretty good. So kill breaker is pretty good, but we still keep the bar on the field. We still have another Sejuani in our hand. And we still have 3 sisters as well, and Trollshan. I could have saved some units with Trollshan, but again, I'm just gonna play it very safe, very slow. Because Sejuani is about to level up as well. Undergrowth? Yeah, opponent literally is trying to dig so hard right now for... Okay, so 3 cards, and they haven't played a champion, so they have to have Maokai and Nautilus coming up soon. I guess the concern here is that if... Oh, that's a huge draw. I guess the concern here is that if the opponent has Maokai, we can put on a timer. So now we're in a timer, right? Because the opponent gets 2 blockers here. But the Sejuani actually is going to finish the game because of her overwhelm as well. And Gnar is going to get overwhelmed after we attack, right? We were able to get Gnar right before the opponent did his Maokai. So we got a little bit lucky there. We're going to save the Sejuani so that we actually do Sejuani once the opponent summons the sapling. Because the Sejuani with the sapling is going to be lethal, right? Oh, come on. Like, I want to have units. I don't want to have, like, spells. So we have 3 cards left in our deck. Each of our cards are going to get a lot of chimes, right? Because the less cards you have, the better it is. This is still lethal unless the opponent has a vengeance or a way to stop Sejuani. Not only that, but they also lose their Nautilus here for free. And they also lose their Maokai. So here are, we have 10 chimes. Alright, so do you have the vengeance? Do you have the vengeance? They don't have the vengeance, so there you go. Got a little bit dicey there at the end, but I think he ended up working out by us playing it like really slow. But that's how this deck works. Like, this is a perfect example of how the deck works. You just get units so big that the opponent cannot do anything about it, that even your small Omen Hawk, like you saw there, was like a 12-12. So yeah, GG's. So in this matchup, we'll be going up against Ezreal Caitlyn. Now, I think we're able to beat them really heavily on stats if we're able to buff our stuff up, right? So I think I'm going to play it. I think if we can get Revna, so we can get like a big Revna on the field, I don't see how the opponent is able to beat us, because then all our units are going to be able to out-tempo their units. Unfortunately, we didn't get Revna on our hand, right? So we have to just hope that we draw into her. I mean, we do have the Battle Fury, but the Battle Fury is no longer like a sure win versus this deck, because now they play, obviously, Disintegrate. So Disintegrate is something that we have to watch out for, right? The Tusk Speaker is better used during... Okay, well, that's a good draw. The Tusk Speaker is better used during their attack turn. That way you can advance Sejuani a little bit quicker as well. So we get the first trigger in Sejuani here. Tusk Speaker gives us the second trigger in Sejuani on turn 2. Please don't hit the Omen Hawk. Okay, whew. I thought it was going to hit the Omen Hawk again. That's unfortunate. That's a little bit annoying. That's a little bit annoying. Because we don't have any good blocker for it, but here we get a Tusk Speaker. We can even go Ancient Yeti, to be honest. Opponent's gonna go with... Okay, so he had double Killing in his hand. So now we have 4 Flash Bombs. We can do the Ancient Yeti right now, to be honest. That's a sit-sit that the opponent has to watch out for. I don't hate it. How does the opponent deal with a sit-sit on turn 4? I guess he could have the Sentry. Yeah, he could have Sentry right here. And that's fine. I think I still like the attack with the Belllinger, just to get rid of his blocker. And because that Belllinger could die to a Flash Bomb. We have a blocker for the Caitlyn. Oh, that's a nice hit. I guess Scorched Earth here would be a problem. So we can do Sejuani next turn. So let's say that the opponent has Flock right here. Oh, Piltover. Okay, well, you definitely cannot attack anymore. So now we just do Gnar. So he definitely cannot attack anymore. So now we just do Gnar. We do Sejuani and the Caitlyn. Call it a day. Sejuani's 7-8. Opponent only has 6 mana, right? So like, Opponent's trying to get value, but I think like we're getting so big that it's gonna be a problem for them, right? Don't think it's correct to play for the Battle Fury just yet, just because of the fact that the opponent could have Scorched Earth, right? So playing Battle Fury doesn't make sense into either of these lineups. Opponent could still have Scorched Earth, or he could have Flock, right? So because to play around Flock, I need to pull with the Ancient Yeti. So now this only dies to the Scorched Earth, doesn't die to a Flock. And there you go. So the opponent gets the Scorched Earth, like we just talked about. Unfortunately for us, right? I'm gonna go ahead and commit the Overwhelming Gnar right now. And that's the Revna. So now I don't see how the opponent wins, right? We summon Revna, and now opponent will no longer be able to outvalue us in terms of units from now on. Ugh, that's vulnerable to a Flock. Opponent's gonna go here. Do I care? I didn't realize the Tri-beam was that big. I guess they'd be used in 2 sentries. Okay, that's an 8 Tri-beam. I don't think I care. I think I just Revna. I think I still like the Revna here. Because I think our units are going to get so big that the opponent cannot do anything about it. Like right here, yeah, you attack. But then what? I guess he could have Flock to kill the Mega Gnar. We just sacrifice the Revna here for no reason. I mean, not for no reason. We always just throw the Revna away because opponent doesn't really have any value there. The Caitlyn level up is kind of annoying, but we do have some quick attack. We can do the Ancient Yeti here. That's a 10-10. So we have Ancient Yeti, we have Ruthless Raider, and just get all this value. Opponent will need to have another Tri-beam that's still that big for him to have any effect here. Anything else doesn't make sense. Like, our units are so big now that I don't see how the opponent is able to come back in tempo. And that's the whole goal with this deck, right? That you get your units so big that the opponent, you just go over anything that the opponent might do. Flock means that he can kill here. He has 1 Sitka spell. Okay, so that's the Scorcher. So he decided to go Scorcher here. Block could still be a problem right here. I think I'm okay going like this. Letting him sacrifice it here. He has 1 Sitka spell. 1 more Flash Bomb means that the Caitlyn levels up. We do have the freeze, and we have the Battle Fury for the Caitlyn though. And there's the bar. Oh, okay, well, Ezreal is a problem. So Ezreal is definitely one way that the opponent wins, right? Because the Ezreal can bypass anything that we try to do. We can freeze it. Opponent has a Sitka spell from Pharos that we haven't seen yet. We can block the Caitlyn. I'm actually fine blocking with Gnar, to be honest. That's what I thought. So opponent's just going to try to kill the Gnar here. Do we ever freeze this? I don't think we do. I mean, we should probably, right? This is the tough decision here. So we can freeze it right now. And I think that's okay. That forces the opponent to have to commit another spell to be able to actually kill the Gnar, right? Instead of getting the free kill on the Gnar right now. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think I like the tough speaker this turn. And then having Battle Fury open for next turn, right? Opponent's going to have to definitely... I mean, the problem is the Caitlyn's going to level up, right? This also levels up the Gnar, right? The tough speaker levels up the Gnar, so opponent has to deal with Gnar right now. Doesn't deal with the Gnar. We can pull the Caitlyn away even if she levels up, because she's going to have vulnerable, and the Gnar leveled up. Oh, we got hit by 3 flash bombs. That's a lot. We know opponent's hand very limited, right? The fact that they have to use that thermal tells me that their hand might be a little bit limited. So I think I'm okay doing it like this. My only problem here is that this is not presenting lethal. He already used 2 Scorched Earths. I think this is game. Opponent already used 2 Scorched Earths, right? They will need to have the Flock here. And that's it. There we go. Woo! We held on to them a little bit long, but I think it ended up being worth it, right? The moment that the opponent tapped out a Scorched Earth, I guess they could still kill us with Flock, right? Flock will have been 4 and the Static Shot, each of them will have been 2. But we got there. This deck is feeling pretty good. This deck is feeling pretty good. GG's. So in this matchup, we'll be going up against Viego Kindred. But the opponent is playing Viego Ionia. Revna is really good. Sejuani can be really good against like Viego as well. I wonder if it's too early to keep her in my hand though. I like the Revna. We can potentially make our units so big that the opponent's gonna have a hard time dealing with them. The problem is that, right, opponent can just level up Viego and call it a day that way, which could also be a problem. Like, I think playing for the long game might actually be pretty bad for us because the opponent could have Viego level up. They have a lot of ways to level up their unit. We had one of the Revnas, that's pretty good for us. Let's do the Esmus. Let's do the Esmus here. Start working on our shines. I'm okay taking this block, as if I can get rid of his units early, that's better for us. The Alma Hawk is not really doing anything, not really doing a lot for us. We can do Bird right here into Tusk Rider. So Bird into Tusk Speaker, sorry, I don't know why I said Tusk Rider. Buff it up with Asmus, and that's a little bit of overwhelm that we're dealing. Opponent doesn't really have a good block here. Even if he blocks with the Soldier, he's still taking 3 damage. Boom. Now we don't have a play for next turn, which is kind of annoying. So we don't have a play for next turn unless we join to something that's 4 mana or less. Opponent could have Kindred right here, and that would be kind of annoying as well. Yeah. So Kindred is really unfortunate because opponent is able to just start killing our units slowly, right? But I'm gonna force him to have to glimpse. If he wants to kill my unit, he's gonna have to glimpse. Doesn't look like they have the glimpse. So we can go ahead and do the Ancient Jetty here. Have Troshan available. Even if opponent has Viego, we have a pretty good overwhelm units here. Because we can buff both of them. We can buff both of them with the Esmus. Opponent could have like a stun or a recall. The fact that we hit some of our overwhelm units is pretty good though. I think I like it this way. So I don't want to buff the elusives because the elusives are going to be bait into the Kindred, right? Like the elusives are always dying into the Kindred anyways. So I think I just want to spread out my damage over the overwhelms instead. And just have the opponent actually try to fight us with the overwhelm stats. Because here he's going to do Glimpse or something like that. I guess Glimpse is actually bad because he lets all the overwhelm damage go through. So what does he have for 2 mana? Twin Sisters, right? Is this a twin? So the reason I put this first was to kind of play around play a little bit around twin. We have the Trollshan to be able to save our unit. He has to be twin, right? If he's going like this, or if he's actually sacrificing his Viego. Wow, I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. So I'm okay killing the Viego. And the reason I'm okay killing the Viego is because if we kill Viego, then over time our units are going to be much bigger than his. Because we will have access to Revna, right? We also keep our mana for Trollshan for later, which is pretty good here, especially if the opponent decides to attack with Kindred. I guess the opponent could have Vengeance here, or he's going to just Glimpse. Okay, so he's going to Glimpse right off the bat, try to kill the Esmus. We do the Revna, opponent's down to 5 HP. We get a big 9/9 overwhelm that the opponent has to deal with. And now what do? And everything in our deck is buffed by 4. I guess we need to play around Vengeance, right? So to play around Vengeance, we probably need to summon both overwhelm units. By having both overwhelm units on the field, opponent shouldn't have a way to stop this. If we only have one, opponent could have Vengeance or like a Concussive Palm and stop our Jetty, right? So I think it's always correct to do the second Ancient Jetty. Even though we have like 3 Sisters and stuff, because this is forcing 2 spells out of him. Where there is Vengeance, I guess he has enough. He has just enough mana to do Vengeance and Concussive Palm, right? Which is a problem. By doing this way as well, he's able to get some value from Kindred as a blocker. What if we say no to that? What if we say no to that and we go like this? So that way the Kindred doesn't get bigger. Because the opponent needs to get a Slay to be able to get Kindred to have more health. This also means that now when he does slay something, it's gonna go to the bird. It's not gonna go to like my Revna, for example. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like that Troll Shen. I think I like that Troll Shen. Opponent just stepped out of having enough mana for Vengeance and Concussive Palm. I guess they could still have double Concussive Palm right here. But double Concussive Palm is not that scary because opponent's not getting any Slay. Yeah, there we go. So he goes for the Slay anyways, trying to get his Kindred to be big enough to actually like stop our unit. But then we still go like this and call it a day. Bird is gonna die, so it doesn't matter anyways. Opponent has to block with Kindred, otherwise they lose the game. So I think it's fine to attack with Revna, right? Usually I wouldn't attack with Revna because it's a good trade into the Kindred, because he gets a favorable trade with Kindred. But because he's forced to block with Kindred, I think he ends up being okay. Now, opponent could have like Twin plus Concussive. That saves them, because twinning the Kindred plus Concussive on the Ancient Yeti completely blocks every damage. Concussive alone still means that he takes 2 damage, and he still loses almost all his board. And we can play the second Revna. Ooh, Kindred Spirit Journey. Still loses Kindred though. Still loses Kindred, and the bird stays alive. So we're still in a very good spot. We still have another Overwhelm here, and we can get another one. The only problem is that it did get reset, right? That's the only downside, that it did reset the Ancient Yeti. So let's just do this first. That's a big back. That's a big elusive, guys. That's a very big elusive. Opponent has an elusive blocker though, so he ends up not mattering that much. But everything that we draw is gonna be buffed by 8. Because 4 from Revna, 4 from Revna here. Opponent decided to not take advantage of his elusive, so now we can play our Esmus. And just like that, we have a big boy here. So now what does he do here? We can even do the Tusk Speaker to have another Overwhelm. We have the Battle Fury as well. Opponent gets the Battle Feast. So it gives him like the natural blockers for my units. Still needs to have an elusive blocker, obviously. That's the winning card, right? Because now we can pull the elusive away. I doubt that the opponent plays Ruination, right? But just in case that they play Ruination, if they pass here with 9 mana, I can just open attack because we still have enough mana for Battle Fury. So usually these decks don't play Ruination, but there is a minor, small chance that they do. He tapped out of 9 mana, we play Sejuani, we drag the elusive away, and now we have multiple ways of winning. We went through the Overwhelm, we went through the elusive, and opponent cannot do anything about it. And we even have a leveled up Sejuani, which means that the opponent doesn't even get good trades into us. Look how big this Sejuani is. 8/8 and also got hit by a Shine. Opponent could have Vengeance, but Vengeance is not enough because we have Overwhelm here, Overwhelm here. We can present lethal by attacking with this Overwhelm. And we also have the elusive. So yeah, there we go. GG's. That's the purpose of this deck, and it's really fun when it actually works with Revna down there in the field. So yeah. So in this matchup, we'll be going up against Annie Jhin. So we lose if they have like a really early board presence. So if they have like multiple 1-drops back to back to back, I think we always lose. I think we need units. I like Troll Shen, but I think we need units. Now, if... Oh, wow, we got exactly the same 2 cards back. We need early units, and Esmus is not the unit that we're looking for. So Esmus is really bad in this matchup because Esmus is not able to block anything, right? So it's a little bit unfortunate that we started with Esmus out of everything else that we could have potentially drawn. And if the opponent has the Rune Kuroki right here, then I think we just lose the game. Tusk Speaker. But this is what I'm talking about, right? What is Esmus doing for us right here? Like, literally nothing. Like, literally nothing. We're gonna have to take that 3 damage, I think. I think we're gonna have to take that 3 damage. Just for a potential for us to buff this up with Esmus. And have a blocker that can kill a Tusk Speaker next turn. Yeah, okay, this is doom. This is not the hand that you want to see versus aggro. Especially when they have stuns as well to deal with like your big units.
If they don't they'll burn. For the glory of Noxus.
Are we ever doing like this and doing Trojan right now? I think we are. I think I like this Trojan. I have to, right? I'm so behind that I have to do this Trojan. That gives me a blocker against the Tough Speaker. We have the Avaros and Arriders to give us another blocker. If opponent has the Station or a Sentry, then this becomes a little bit of a punish. Linger is not bad. I think it's not the right play next turn though. Yeah, if the opponent has a Stagehand or a Sentry, then I think we just lose the game every time. And there we go. We're gonna have to sacrifice the Esmus against the Stagehand. And we can block... What are we blocking? Opponent should attack with everything every time, right? He gets the Annie leveled up as well, but... Esmus is so bad in this matchup. It's like the one matchup I don't want to see Esmus, and I want to see just Bird multiple times, right? Because look, Esmus is just gonna die and didn't accomplish anything all game long. This is just putting us at 4, gives us a blocker for next turn. I don't think it's gonna matter. I think at this point we have to do whatever little advantages we can get though. As bad as they are. Because I don't think there's any way for us to come back here. Because we're in range of a Decimate. So we're in range of Decimate. We lose to... This is dealing 1 next turn. Opponent gets the Stagehand. We do have the Freezes next turn, so it's not the end of the world. Opponent can actually Tivers next turn as well. Opponent can Tivers, and he's actually killing our Omen Hawk. So the Tivers is actually killing our Omen Hawk while stunning one of our units. And that should be it. Maybe the opponent gets greedy and just open attacks. I think that's good for us, right? So this is pretty good for us because we can go like this and what? Do the Entomb. Do the Entomb right here, and now we just go down to 2. If the opponent has a Fervor, they have it. Yeah, they have a Fervor, they have it. I mean, we're always losing, right? So it doesn't matter. Disintegrate. Okay, so second Annie to get rid of our Overwhelm. Which means that we're still in a tough spot. Opponent has access to the Tivers, which can actually kill our Riders next turn. Or he can even kill it this turn if the opponent so choose to. Annie's still on the field. Let's just get our attack in. I mean, again, Tivers just becomes such a big punish next turn for us, right? Because Tivers can stun as well as kill the Rider, so because he can stun one of our units, and he does 2 damage to... Oh, I think the opponent got greedy here. I think if they waited until next turn, it would have been better for them, because they could have taken advantage of the stun. So now we actually potentially have a chance to come back, as long as the opponent literally doesn't draw any other burn. We have blockers for everything. Ah, come on. So it's just no splits. Alright, so we're always gonna lose anyway. So yeah, GG's. So in this matchup, we'll be going up against Lurk. Okay, so our units can easily get bigger than the Lurk units because of Revna. And we have a lot of early blockers as well. We also have Battle Fury. We can just straight up win us the game too, right? Because the only answer to Battle Fury is gonna be Pike. Do we ever just play for the Battle Fury win condition? I don't dislike it. Like, how does he deal with Battle Fury? I guess Pike is a good answer, right? Because this is only adding +4 health. Oh, that's a good draw. That's a very good draw. Well, I guess kind of sucks that he ended up getting the Hatchling. Because I guess the only thing that we could have blocked here would have been the Treasure Seekers, so the Hatchling is fine. We have a blocker for it. I like the Ruthless Raider. It stops a Snapjaw, right? So the opponent has a Snapjaw here. He can't actually attack with it because the Snapjaw can only go up to 2. I guess unless he hit a Rek'Sai, right? If the opponent hit a Rek'Sai, he could have gone for it. Now, this is gonna die though, unfortunately. But our hand is looking very good though. Our hand is looking very good because we're gonna trade all the units with the opponent. I guess the only downside is the Omen Hawk is not really doing anything here, right? So the Omen Hawk doesn't do much. We also should have blocked the hatchling, to be honest, instead of blocking this, but it's fine. This will enable us to get Sejuani level up slowly and surely. We're gonna hit a Shime on either Bard or Ancient Jetty. I actually prefer it if it's on Bard. Okay, we hit it on the Omen Hawk as well. I like it better on Bard. I like it better on Bard because Bard ends up having 6 health and he ends up being a really good blocker, right? I'm willing to attack with him just to get more Shimes. We have blockers for all his units here. We can Omen Hawk. I don't care about Bard dying. So we still have blockers for both his units. So putting down to 2 cards. He has gotten Lurk 3 times. So a big... Omen Hawk still can block the Sharkling. We can block the Hatchling. And we can block the Cersei Collar. So we trade everything. And as long as we're trading everything, I don't see how the opponent is able to ever win. Because eventually he's going to run out of units, right? It makes this Joel Hunter, Joel Fish, worse. Which is pretty good for us. I think I'm going to get greedy and just summon this right now. We have the Ancient Jetty. That's going to be really reduced here, right? Ah, nice. We hit the Overwhelm. So it's always risky, right? It's always risky to play that card because I never know if I'm actually going to hit the Overwhelm there or not. We could attack, but then we're just giving it into this Undead Titan for free, so I don't think it's actually worth it. Oh, that's the worst one that we got hit. Now, we do have enough mana, fortunately for us, to do Omen Hawk plus Battle Fury, which might actually be okay to sacrifice our to do Battle Fury to kill the Undead Titan. I think I might be okay with that. This would need to be a Pike for us to get punished for this play. Double Undead Titan is a problem. Yeah, double Undead Titan is a problem. So that could be a Pike, right? The way that the opponent just did that like that, that could easily be a Pike. We go like this. And now we're in trouble. Now we're in trouble because we have to trade so many units that now the opponent's going to be ahead of us. Now we are showing 11. We are showing lethal, right? So if it's not a Pike that the opponent sent back, then they cannot win. If it's a Pike, so I need to attack. So I need to attack just because of the Joe Hunters, because he has exactly 8 mana. It needs to be Pike right here, and it's not. Perfect. So if it was, I needed to open attack just because of the threat of the Joe Hunters, the 8-drop. The Joe Fish, sorry. I don't know why I keep saying Joe Hunters. The Joe Fish. I had to be okay with losing to Pike. And it wasn't even a loss to the against Pike, right? Because we had another Ancient Jetty that was a 10-10 on our hand. But I think we would have been a lot more sad if a Joe Fish cleared our whole board. So yeah, GG's. Hey, welcome back everybody. Hope you enjoy those games. You can see how funny this deck is when it works. When it works, it's just crazy because you can just have Revna out there just getting so big and just buffing everything up that the opponent cannot do anything about it whatsoever. Even against Deep, we were able to just outstack them. That's how big our units ended up becoming. In terms of mulligan for this deck, I think obviously you want to keep your Bird or your Omen Hawk whenever you see them in your hand. You want to try to get those early on, and then really the rest, and even Esmus, I don't mind keeping Esmus early on, and then the rest I would like mulligan away. Because I feel like you rather start buffing them while they're in your deck, or unless you start with like double Bird, then maybe you want to keep maybe one of your like Overwhelms in your hand so that they get buffed by the first Shine potentially. But I think it's better to just go with your early units first, and then just start working up towards your bigger units. Obviously, if you get Ancient Jetty in your opening hand, I also recommend keeping Ancient Jetty in your opening hand because that way it gets discounted over time and you just get a free Ancient Jetty or a really reduced cost Ancient Jetty later in the game. So Ancient Jetty, Bird, Omen Hawk are my go-to choices. Esmos in certain scenarios, Ruthless Raider and Tusk Speaker in certain scenarios as well, depending if you feel like you need some early blockers. I'm going to continue playing this deck because honestly, this is actually really, really fun. And I need to at least do a small little bit of push off stream so that we can potentially get to Masters on this Smurf account sooner rather than later. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. As always, If you like the content, please make sure to like the video below and subscribe to us. We post LR videos every single day, and all your support always helps us out. You can also find us on Twitch at Twitch Sirturmund, where we stream 3 to 4 times a week. And you can also find us on Discord and Twitter. The links to those are both in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.